excellence in social media.
Tokyo 21, presented locally by IT&E. KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano Program. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Coming up on Primetime, one woman shares her story of losing both parents to COVID and being unable to grieve with her family who are stuck in quarantine. Also tonight, close to 24 military medical professionals are providing much-needed assistance to the island's only public hospital. And $26 million in pandemic unemployment assistance checks has been released today.
Today, everybody. Over the weekend, Guam recorded 3 new COVID-related fatalities, bringing the total number of deaths to date to 34 people who have passed away. Additionally, over the weekend, a total of 43 new cases were reported out of 305 samples, bringing the total amount of COVID-19 cases on Guam to 2,117, with 633 of those being active cases. And now for a coronavirus hospitalization update, there are 38 COVID patients hospitalized at the Guam Memorial Hospital. According to Administrator Lillian Posadas, 18 are receiving ICU level of care, with 8 of those patients currently on ventilators. The island saw 3 COVID-related fatalities again this weekend. Posadas also said some COVID patients were well enough to be released from the hospital, but she cautions GMH is not out of the COVID woods just yet.
These individuals are still very sick, critically sick, and so they still need to be on supplemental oxygen. And like Dr. Ogden pointed out, they could be fine 1 minute waving at you and going thumbs up, and then they crash. It just really all depends on their system, how compromised they are and the underlying medical conditions that they have.
Posadas reiterates the need to practice COVID-19 safety measures, and she says GMH this weekend saw its share of loss and hope.
We lost some individuals. They fought hard to recover, but unfortunately, again, their systems, their heart, their respiratory systems just were so compromised from their underlying conditions. Individuals have healed and have recovered from the COVID infection. So some of them have gone home to continue home isolation. Some of them were discharged to the government-sponsored isolation facility. So, that's the good side of, what's happening here, is that there is that hope that people can heal and can recover from this COVID infection.
You can watch the full interview on our YouTube page. A family mourns its patriarch and matriarch as COVID-19 claims a married couple in a story that will surely break your heart. Peter Santos has more.
She waited.
Raquel Dazan Ike flew home to be with her parents, both of whom tested positive for COVID-19 and were hospitalized at the Guam Memorial Hospital. Because her parents, both over 90 years old, were at GMH for COVID, she applied for a hardship exemption from quarantine.
I sent in my application for an emergency hardship the day before I flew, complete with all documents.
But public health denied her request.
This shouldn't have been my situation. I gave them everything. I didn't take any shortcuts. I applied through their channels. I went through their website. I contacted everyone I needed to. I wanted to do it appropriately and not, ask a favor.
It was while she was in quarantine that she got the news that her father, Joseph E. Lavelle, had died. Dazan Ike cried as she recalled how she felt.
The quarantine, like you said, Dr. Shea, is inhumane. I think when we got the news that my father passed on 9/11, I was just shaking. I was cold. There was nobody there, nobody physically there. He looked out after our mother, and he was always afraid, like, who would be with her. They were inseparable. He always thought of her first, but he didn't make it. He went first.
Unfortunately, the heartbreak did not stop there, as just 7 days after the death of her father, her mother, Maria LaVille, passed away. Dazan Ike says that it was a sign that showed that they could not live without each other.
She waited, those 7 days to give us some time to kind of get ready.
Dazan Ike was released to her home to self-isolate, but now her husband and her children have to endure the quarantine, unable to grieve together as a family. Now on their 6th day of quarantine, Dazan Ike's husband, Chad Ike, says that it's been hard on the children to not be around their mother at a time like this.
For them not to be able to, hold her and kiss her and comfort her and vice versa, you can never get that motherly love from anybody else.
The full interview can be found on the KUAM YouTube page. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
Another executive order, but it doesn't change mandatory quarantine. Last night, the governor issued a new executive order that amends and clarifies the quarantine and isolation provisions of her previous orders. The new EO rescinds all previous sections that reference the restriction of entry into Guam. It replaces them with the new section that replaces the word shall be subject to quarantine and isolation with the word may be subject to. The new order follows court rulings last week by Superior Court Judge Elise Iriarte, in which several people under quarantine were released because she found that the government had violated their constitutional and due process rights. It's not clear if the new executive order was in response to the court's actions. Again, all travelers into Guam are still subject to a 14-day mandatory quarantine in a government quarantine facility. And more on the Quarantine Chronicles. The Superior Court Judge Iriarte this morning dismissed a petition filed by Marcus Lang against public health and the Guam Military Buildup Office. Lang, as we have reported, was placed at the DOD quarantine facility at the Westin for 14 days and on his dime. According to the order, Judge Iriarte found Lang does not have personal jurisdiction against the respondents, and his request to be released from quarantine was not brought against the appropriate entities in this case, as he is not quarantined at a GovGuam facility. Although, as Lang testified, he was seeking essential worker status, which he was ultimately denied for and then required to quarantine in a DOD facility. Lang told the courts he never received his rights and never received an answer as to why he was quarantined at a DOD facility. Lang's attorney, Jackie Terlahi, says the Superior Court of Guam did not address the issue of whether public health violated Mr. Lang's rights. Rather, the court declined to exercise personal jurisdiction over Mr. Lang. We are now seeking alternative relief. Terlahi tells KUAM they are filing a new writ with the Supreme Court of Guam. Judge Iriarte, in the meantime, did grant the release of other quarantined travelers, citing constitutional and due process violations. As we reported, Janella Cruz and her 2 sons were freed from quarantine. Cruz was forced into quarantine after picking up her children at the airport. She says that although she filled out the proper paperwork and received approvals from public health, she was approached by law enforcement and given an ultimatum that she or her husband either quarantine their children or they would be staying with strangers. We spoke with her on the link this morning.
I was one of them who fell through the cracks. It's still a fine-tuning process. COVID is the reason of all of this mess. So, let's just fight this fight together and do our part, because it's not like we've had this COVID or, virus like 10, 20 years ago that we already had a process in place. Right. So it's not fair all around. This goes to show human beings are the creatures of their own tragic demise. We became our own virus to our own community, to our own health, to ourselves. And who are we fighting? Who are we really fighting? Against each other or the virus, really?
According to Cruz's attorney, Rachel Azizu, the attorneys in the quarantine challenges informed the court over the weekend that there are hundreds of quarantine persons who fall in the same categories as their clients' cases. Azizu says, quote, "We anticipate that most of these people would seek release to quarantine in their own homes if they knew they could do so without being charged with the crime or monetary fine." The cavalry is here. Hospital Administrator Lillian Posadas confirming more medical help from off-island has arrived as GovGuam has signed off on a contract with California-based staffing solutions company New West. Posada says although they couldn't get any doctors, much-needed nurses are already on island and ready to put on their scrubs and get to work.
15 ICU nurses. We've got some hemodialysis nurses, some telemetry nurses, and emergency room nurses. We also have 3 respiratory therapists from this staffing solutions. So they're here. The cavalry is here.
According to Posadas, New West is being paid an hourly rate of $145 for each nurse. The nurses are scheduled to be on island to assist with the coronavirus response for 8 to 13 weeks, but depending on surge stats, they could be here longer.
And depending that, we continue to see numbers of COVID positive in the community. And so, give or take 20% of those individuals in the community are going to probably end up needing hospital care. Hopefully not, that they can manage and isolate themselves and recover without having to be in the hospital. But, we have to be prepared and plan that they may end up needing to come into the hospital.
Posadas adds the Department of Defense medical team on island to aid GMH in its COVID response will begin cycling out by the end of the month. Some 22 military medical professionals from an Army and Air Force Joint Service team have been working to support overwhelmed frontliners at the hospital. A defense coordinating officer described the cooperation between DoD and GovGuam as an historic time for the island.
In a news release, Deputy Defense Coordinating Officer Jeffrey Barron said it was historic to bring some of the DoD's most highly trained medical professionals to work alongside the best medical professionals in Guam. The team of critical care nurses, respiratory therapists, respiratory technicians, internists, and intensivists has been here since September 3rd. They arrived from known COVID-free environments at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Alaska and Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington. JRM Commander Admiral John Manoni made a visit to GMH to check up on them.
I think the team that's here, while not certainly as proficient as Dr. Uggan and her team, who have been dealing with this since March, on the front lines, their efforts are very well appreciated by the GMH staff, and Lillian and the team have them working hard over there right now. Right. So they're fully engaged.
GovGuam had asked for the help through FEMA. Minoni says we could always use more help, and he will continue to fight for additional resources.
But I also understand that, the budget is not unlimited, and we are fighting a global pandemic where medical professionals across the world are being stretched thin and worn down to the nub, to include DoD.
The military medical team is here for a limited 30-day deployment and will depart at the end of the month. A request for another team will again have to be made through FEMA. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Reporting for duty but ending up behind bars, the Department of Corrections officer busted for allegedly trying to bring in drugs into the Mingilao compound. According to court documents, 28-year-old Mike Alex Muña was reporting for a shift just after 1 o'clock in the morning Saturday when his bag was searched. Inside a lotion bottle, DOC's Special Operations team found a clear plastic baggie containing meth, plastic hypodermic syringes, 3 plastic straws containing suspected marijuana, and a cell phone. Gumatauta admitted bringing the lotion bottle into DOC, but he denied he knew the contraband was inside. He faces multiple charges, including possession of a Schedule II controlled substance with intent to deliver, promoting major prison contraband, and official misconduct. Stay tuned. We're back with more news after the break.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
While we've all been through a lot over the years,
typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19,
we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years,
KUAM's insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
Nachos come with rules, like don't take the fully loaded chips, don't hog the guac, and never take the last one. But with the Grande Nachos box from Taco Bell, you can break all the rules, because this meal's all yours.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. The newest batch of unemployment checks worth $26 million hit the banks today, and the total paid out so far is about $350 million. But Labor Director David Delasola says GDOL continues to be bogged down by fraudulent claims, mostly from the mainland. He says about 90% of the recent submissions have been bogus.
I have a 5 a.m. call tomorrow with the Assistant Secretary of Labor and the Office of the Inspector General to discuss fraud prevention and organized crime, money mules that we are also experiencing here, and ways to try to combat that.
GDOL also received a $210,000 grant to help fight against fraud. The governor's economic advisory panel and its working group will continue meetings to dialogue and offer suggestions and recommendations to the island's Magahaga for reopening businesses. So far, the governor has agreed to reopen non-essential retailers for curbside pickups and takeout services for restaurants. Working group member and GHRA president Mary Rhodes says other options are on the table.
This week, we are talking a little bit more about some additional areas. I know that like retail curbside was offered, but just looking at the data clusters, there are other areas that haven't been affected, like there haven't been a huge cluster just from retail or even from outdoor sports, but individual sports.
Rhodes says the Economic Advisory Panel and Working Group will be meeting again this week. Key to discussions is information from public health so that decisions that are made by the government are consistent and backed up by data. Guam Animals in Need is offering a $2,000 reward for the persons responsible for the death of a dog who was found in the water near Jeff's Pirates Cove in Ipan Sunday afternoon at around 3 o'clock. A runner was on Route 4 when he noticed an object floating on the ocean-facing side of the bridge. We should warn you that the following photo is graphic. When he looked closer, he realized it was a dog that was tied to a rock. The runner called 911 and GPD responded. Veterinarians estimate the drowning occurred sometime between last Monday and Saturday based on the photos. Anyone with information is urged to call GAIN, the number 653-4246, or Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-4357. GAIN reminds the public that it is a felony to cruelly kill pets. The Attorney General's petitioned the Supreme Court to hear Guam's case against the Navy for the cleanup of the old Ordot dump. The AG argues that the military built and ran the former landfill after the war and should pay at least a share of the $160 million it cost to close it.
What was once a valley in Ordot is now a mountain of sanitized garbage that included harmful waste that the federal EPA sued GovGuam to cover and clean up. AG Levin Camacho says DOD has been using that as an excuse not to help pay for the costs.
It was a consent decree that we entered into under the Clean Water Act. And the court said, well, when you entered into the Clean Water Act consent, you were waiving, or your time to file a lawsuit under another law, CERCLA, started to run.
CERCLA, also known as the Superfund Act, was a set of environmental laws passed in the 70s that forced the cleanup across the country of toxic dump sites like Ordot. He says it's only right that the Navy shares in the cost.
They didn't line it. They dumped chemicals in there for decades. And, it's going to be a little bit difficult to figure out, where their pollution stops and where the government of Guam may have started. But I think just based on the chemicals that they found there, it's not like your Roundup that you're buying from Home Depot. It's pretty toxic stuff.
The case has been making its way through the federal court system for several years now, and Camacho says there's been division within the districts over the case, which is why he's hopeful the High Court will take it and decide once and for all if the Navy is responsible and how much it should pay.
If we survive this, there'll be an evidentiary hearing where we would figure out what their contribution would be based on when they ran the dump and when it was turned over to the government of Guam. But as of right now, they haven't contributed a penny.
The AG says he expects they'll hear from the Supreme Court by early next year. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
A panel from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has affirmed a decision by the CNMI District Court regarding the military buildup. The opinion stems from a lawsuit filed in 2016 by the Tinian Women Association, Guardians of Ghani, Pagan Watch, and the Center for Biological Diversity against the Navy, DOD, and the Department of Justice. Among the concerns, the groups allege the feds didn't follow procedures under the National Environmental Policy Act with respect to the relocation plan for Marines from Okinawa to Guam. The plaintiffs also claim the Navy failed to consider relocation alternatives beyond Guam and the CNMI. The Ninth Circuit, however, upheld the District Court's summary judgment in favor of the Navy. Heads of the Republican Party, Tony Atta, and Democrat Party Chairperson Sarah Thomas Nedadog are urging island residents to exercise their right to vote. Not only are they concerned about low voter turnout, but the impact it might have on the final numbers in the three-way race for Congress.
Maybe 60, maybe 65% coming out to vote, but we want to ensure and let the public know that there are safe ways to vote. There are safe ways to cast your ballot.
Guam has always had a very good voter turnout in comparison to the other states, right? So, we've always been around 50-60%, if not more. And you're right. Right now, that is a worry.
The Election Commission adopted their safety plan to ensure minimal exposure to COVID when residents head to the polls. In-office voting is underway at the GEC office in Hagåtña, but you must schedule an appointment. According to GEC Executive Director Maria Pangilinan, over 300 people voted over the weekend. Meanwhile, this Saturday, the GEC will be conducting in-office absentee voting at Maritzo Martyrs Memorial Elementary School. For more information, go to gec.guam.gov. NFL is back, and our Dave Delgado catches up with local fans in the Fanatic Zoom Zone and talks their love of the game, predictions for the season, and even potential trash talk about their team's rivals.
Welcome to Fanatic Zoom Zone. Dave Delgado here, and joining me is Andy Fernandez, who reps the Philadelphia Eagles. Andy, tell us when the love for your team first started.
1999, when McNabb got drafted for the Eagles.
Any game day traditions?
Got the jersey on, wrap the hat.
All-time favorite players for the Eagles?
My top two all-time favorite Eagles players gotta be the Heart, Brian Dawkins, and Donovan McNabb, of course.
Which team do you look forward to facing every season?
And we always look forward to facing the Cowgirls, division rivalries, that's the one right there.
Your most memorable moment?
My most memorable moment is winning a trip to Super Bowl 49. I was able to meet one of the Eagles players, linebackers, Michael Kendricks. Yeah, he was pretty cool too. Fly, Eagles, fly.
On the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Coming up, we chat with the National Weather Service and get a preview of this week's forecast. You're watching KUAM. Stay tuned.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.
That's when Lil Mama came to stealing looks. Whoa, she off the rate scale, she had me shook. Yeah, but if you single tonight and can't find your friends, then I hope you don't mind me asking. Do you wanna dance to the music? Do you wanna rock to the beat of the drum? And we could cut it up, cut it up, cut it up, cut it up. Baby, we should cut her up.
When I need to pay my Docomo Pacific bills or manage my account, all I do is visit mydocomopacific.com. It's easy to set up. I just visit the website and click on the link to set up my account. I filled out the registration page starting with my account number. I received a text message with a temporary username and password. After making initial changes on my security settings, I'm in! Now I can make payments or manage my Docomo Pacific account without needing to leave home. With Docomo Pacific, we're better together.
Small businesses are an important foundation in our island's growing economy. They provide essential goods and services to our community, while preserving local traditions and creating new job opportunities. Your responses to the 2020 Census of Guam will help small businesses receive the information they need to thrive for years to come. Respond today. Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at this week's weather forecast. Here's Landon Idolette from the National Weather Service.
We're going to zoom out the radar, and you see a lot of colors, a lot of reflectivities off to our southeast. That's where all the heaviest showers and thunderstorms right now. Of course, we have this area of showers and thunderstorms inbound from our west. That's all coming generally this way. But for us, it doesn't look too bad for us the next couple hours with the heaviest the showers and thunderstorms just to our southeast. We're going to scroll out a little bit wider, and we see the more of a regional view. What we have over top of us right now is kind of a surface trough of sorts. It's almost kind of like a weak monsoon trough. And I'm going to go over to our Facebook graphic. This is going to be going to our Facebook page, U.S. National Weather Service Guam, very shortly. And this is what we're looking at. There's a broad surface trough stretch from west to east across the Mariana Islands. And that's where our soupy conditions are right now. This is all moving this way. We have the south and southwest winds over Guam and Rota and the showers and thunderstorms. Eventually, this is going to pull off towards the north, allowing drier weather in place for tomorrow. So expect showers and thunderstorms off and on, a very moist scenario for Guam, Rota, Tini, and Saipan through tonight, and then drier conditions Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Looking ahead, we have this surface trough in the Marshall Islands. This is going to be working its way westward and give us a better chance of showers and thunderstorms Friday, Saturday, and into the weekend. I'm going to flip over to the satellite, and I'm going to show you the lightning we had last night. So all these little flashing lights, there's a negative and positive lightning strikes. We had a lot of lightning yesterday in the Rota Channel. And again, that was just to our north, so it wasn't too exciting for us on Guam, but that's good news. All the action was in the Rota Channel. So if you're in a boat, you probably would not want to be in that. I'm going to throw up the satellite picture now. This is the infrared showing the clouds. What you see, we have a lot of the milky colors building up around Guam. Those are the clouds moving in with that surface trough this morning. And the darker colors, the reds, those are the cooler, colder cloud tops. So where you have the deep convection, the clouds and water droplets go higher into the atmosphere where it's cooler. They begin freezing, and then the downdrafts begin. So where you see the colder cloud top temperatures, that's the deep convection where you see the lightning and thunderstorms. We're seeing some of that cooling cloud tops across Guam, but notice all the yellows, the oranges, and the reds, that's off to our southeast. That's the good news for us. So it looks like all this convection coming in towards Guam is generally weakening with the axis of the heavy weather more towards our southeast, but that could change. We could still see some moderate to heavy showers from time to time and a couple bolts of lightning. So when you hear thunder, get indoors, because if you are within earshot of a lightning, you are technically in danger of possibly being struck by lightning. So keep that in mind. If you're outside and you hear thunder, you are in range of lightning. Before I hand it back to you all, everybody's always talking about the tropics out here. We are still in the heart of typhoon season in the West Pacific, and we do have a tropical storm. That's Tropical Storm 14W. That was upgraded from a tropical depression overnight. And the good news is for us, it's no threat. So we're going to our HurryVac software, Guam and the scene of mine down here. Tropical Storm 14W is well to our northwest, and it's still in our area of responsibility, and that will be exiting our area of responsibility later this afternoon.
Coming up, your birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club. Stay tuned.
MTO Maintenance will now completely sanitize your home, office, or business with state-of-the-art commercial sprayers. For over 30 years, MTO Maintenance has been committed to the health and safety of our customers. And now, more than ever, a clean home, office, carpets, and furniture is a necessity to our island. Give us a call today. Stay healthy and stay safe, Guam.
Call 647-6861 for an appointment. Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Welcome back. Here's your birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Happy birthday on this Monday, September 21st to Magdalena Respicio. Happy birthday. Love you to the moon and back. Love your Inarahan family. Hey, Inarahan. Nora Kastner. Happy first birthday to my granddaughter. We love you. Say mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa. Happy birthday to Jade Cook, who is celebrating today. Jade gets lots of love from the family and Uncle Bill. Happy birthday number 8 to Maya Taitano. To our precocious Maya, we love you so much. Renee Monique Ekfadi Tyron. Happy birthday number 5. And may our Heavenly Father continue to pour his blessings upon you. We love you, says your entire familia. And because it is a Monday, we got some belated birthdays to get to. Born on the 20th, Mariana Timinglow, who celebrates birthday number 15, going up to our baby. We hope that you enjoy your special day, and we love you, coming from the familia. Also born on the 20th and celebrating birthday number 11, happy 11th to Jediah Vincent Chaco. We love you from your family. Robert Hamamoto Sablan gets not one, but 2 birthdays for his on the 20th. Happy birthday to a very loving, caring brother and uncle on his 70th birthday. We love you endlessly. Coming from your Oxnard, Sacramento, San Diego, and Guam siblings. We love you to the moon and back. From Ken, Frankie, Doris, Evan, Julia, and all your Hamamoto, Sablan, and Uggan families, they say be safe. And also to Robert, happy birthday, my brother. Thank you for your service during the Vietnam War. We are so proud of you, and we love you. They say stay safe. Also, happy birthday to Darian Metanonia, who was born on September 19th. We love you and appreciate everything that you do. Love, Mom and the family. And Lorgie Evaristo, who's born on the 18th. Happy belated, Lorgie. Love birthday with hugs and kisses from your loving husband, Steve, and the whole family.
And that is going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thanks so much for watching. Please mask up, stay safe, stay home, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for The Link.
All right, half a day, and welcome to another episode of KUAM News Extra from my home. It's